Tabitha lived in Joppa, a bustling coastal city where merchants and fishermen filled the streets with the sounds of trade and labor. But amidst the daily commerce, there was a woman whose work had nothing to do with wealth or profit. She was known by two names, Tabitha, in her native Aramaic, and Dorcas, in Greek. Both meant the same thing, gazelle, and like her namesake, she moved with grace through the community, her hands always busy with acts of kindness. She was not a preacher, not a prophet, not a ruler, but she was a disciple of Jesus. She followed his ways not by standing in front of crowds, but by serving the poor, comforting the widows, and clothing the needy. While others debated doctrine, Tabitha wove garments for those who had nothing. While some sought positions of influence, she knelt to mend torn fabric and broken hearts. She was beloved. But then sorrow struck. One day Tabitha fell ill. Her hands, once so full of life, grew weak. Her breath became shallow. Despite the prayers and care of those around her, her body gave in to death. The news spread through Joppa like a shadow, darkening the hearts of the believers who had come to depend on her kindness. The widows wept openly, holding the very garments she had made for them. But even in death, hope was not lost. The disciples in Joppa heard that Peter was in the nearby town of Lydda, where he had just healed a paralyzed man in the name of Jesus. Without hesitation, they sent messengers urging him to come quickly. Peter arrived to find the house filled with grief. The widows gathered around him, showing him the tunics and robes that Tabitha had made with her own hands. Their tears were not just for a friend. They were for the very heartbeat of their community. Peter, remembering how his own master had once stood before the dead, sent everyone out of the room. And then, in the silence, he knelt and prayed. Turning to the lifeless body, he spoke words that echoed with divine power. "Tabitha, arise." Her eyes opened. She gasped for breath. Life returned. Peter extended his hand, helping her sit up, then led her to the door where the mourning widows still wept. As he opened it, they saw her standing, alive. Gasps turned to shouts. Shouts turned to joy. Tears of sorrow became tears of awe and wonder. Word spread quickly. Throughout Joppa, the miracle was spoken of in hushed, reverent tones. And because of Tabitha's resurrection, many believed in the Lord. She had been known for her compassion, but now she was also a living testimony to the power of Christ over death itself. Her story is not long in the scriptures, but its impact is eternal. She did not stand before crowds, but her hands clothed the poor. She did not write great letters, but her life spoke volumes. She was not called to preach, but her love preached louder than words. And in the end, her legacy was not in the garments she made, but in the lives she touched.